Welcome back to Theasonsolutions, and I am your host, Marc Reason. Every conversation on this platform carries something special, but today's carries something that makes me smile before we even begin. I have known this wonderful young lady for many years as a little wonderful bubbly girl running around with her dad everywhere, also seeing her at the church camp. And she's always had this one thing that's going to help her in life, and it's probably helping her in her profession now. She has this wonderful smile. She always smiles and it lights up a room and makes people happy. And I'm so excited about this conversation. Her parents are some dynamic, loving couple, and her dad is a very good friend of mine. I might throw that in there. But they've done extraordinary work of building confidence, nurturing, and love in her. And I see she does the same thing with her friends, around her people. And then she was at the Sharon Knights summer camp as a counselor. And did something that everyone could do. She did not just show up, she built relationships. She made every single camper feel like they belonged to a family. That gift, that ability to make people feel seen, valued, and connected turns out to be exactly what her life's work is required right now. Today, she serves as a board-certified behavior analyst and a licensed behavior specialist, dedicated to improving the lives of children with autism and their families through compassionate, evidence-based care. She develops individual treatment plans, conducts behavior assessment, mentors clinical staff, and collaborates with caregivers and educators to create meaningful change across every setting she touches. Philadelphia raised her, a loving family grounded, and now she's here to have a conversation with us on Theasonsolutions. My first question, I want to start at the very beginning.
Thank you for the intro.
Yes, no problem at all. I want to start off from the beginning. I had the privilege of knowing you as a young girl, now transitioned to a wonderful young lady. Your parents are very special to me. Now tell me, what did they do? What did they model for you as a young person growing up in the city of Philadelphia before we even get to the education?
What did they model to me? They modeled to me to definitely love and be kind to everyone, because you can never know someone's situation. But they also showed me to stand in who I am, no matter where I am. And I think that was big in shaping who I am, because I'm not going to be accepted or liked in every situation, nor am I going to see people who look like me in every situation. But I have to be me 100%, no matter what is around me. Because they always said sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt me. So, because I remember when I was in elementary school, as an only child, I feel like I might have been a crybaby as when I was younger. I'm not gonna lie. I cried a lot for no reason.
Just bang, I'm gonna cry right now.
Yeah, I was just crying just cause. And I would go home or I'd cry in school and they would say, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. And I'd be like, well, I just want to cry. But in the moment, I would be mad because I just wanted to cry. But now looking back, I realized that not everyone can see you sweat. And I can't even let myself see myself sweat at all times, because 9 times out of 10, there's a solution on the other side. I just got to take a step back, remember where I am, remember the tools that I have, and then go from there. Because sometimes, you may forget who you are, or your emotions may get in the way of who you really are, to really show you, oh, I can get through anything because I have these tools and I have God and I have family and I have love all around me. So they really taught me that.
Excellent. Our next question. Walk us through your education journey from the beginning. What kind of student were you as a young girl? What subjects pulled you in, and what teachers left a mark on you? And what did your high school years look like?
I really liked science class. That stood out to me. And I remember I liked science in about 5th grade. I had a teacher named Wendy. She was just this cool little lady. We would just do the coolest experiments. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but at that time I was in a smaller school setting, so it was only like 32 of us in the whole grade. So each of my class rotations were only about 8 to 10 of us. So we really got to get into different experiments and try new things. And she broke things down. I'm a visual learner. I've learned that. I need to see things. I need to touch it to understand it.
Sometimes even taste it, right?
Yeah, all the tactiles. Yes, I need to. That helps me learn the best.
Yeah.
So she was the first time I really realized I like science. And then, so my whole story, I went to Math, Civics, and Science for 1st and 2nd grade, and Miss Tharp really pushed me to get into a different style of learning because I originally went for Montessori style learning.
So
And then
you know I had to cut in there, right?
Yeah, I know, because I heard you are the reason I went to MCSC.
And I know Ms. Tharp because I taught there. Wow, I didn't connect all that. But anyway, continue. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
So before, because when I started MCSCS, kindergarten, I went to the Winfield Academy, actually, which is gone, sadly, now.
Yeah, it is.
For kindergarten. But I think my preschool and kindergartens, my mom said, were Montessori style learning. And my mom would have preschool for me. So she'd wake me up at like 4 or 5, and she'd sit me down and have school with me, and then get me ready for school, and then I'd go to school. So that was like the start of my visual, tactile, Montessori style learning. So it was a different transition to charter school. I don't know the name of this style of learning, so you could step in here if you do. But I just remember we would sit down and do a lot of worksheets. And that didn't really work for me in my brain because I'm not good at memorizing.
And like technically that rote memory where you just continuously just compile a bunch of facts and figures in your head and memorize it, but with no depth of level. You just know 6 times 3 equals 18. But you don't know it's 6 groups of 3 or 3 groups of 6 and how that breaks down. So it's rote memory.
Yes. So that was a big barrier for me. Luckily, I was smart, so I could just kind of pick it up. It was a very simple level of thing, so it was easy to pick up. But then when Ms. Tharp pushed me and pushed my parents, I guess, to transition me back to Montessori learning, that was a big transition for me in around 3rd grade, because like you were saying, then I had to start to learn 6 times 3 is not just 6 and 3, it's 6 groups of 3 and 3 groups of 6. And now I had to actually conceptually understand math as a whole, or English as a whole, or history, not just memorize a whole bunch of facts. So that was a barrier that I had to get over, but I realized that's how I learned best. So when I went to high school, I went to Friends Central, and science was my favorite class. Again, biology specifically. I had a teacher, Dr. Gruber, Dr. John Gruber. He's the sweetest man I've ever met in my life. He was caring and kind. That was the first time I heard of Buddhism, actually. He told me he didn't talk for like 4 days. And I said, I can't imagine not speaking for 4 days. But he just taught us all about plants and just more about the world around us. So we had a botany class, and that was the first time I even heard about botany too. So science has always been my thing. So then I went from Friends Central to Drexel, and Drexel was a whirlwind. I would call my parents crying every day because it was so hard. I actually wanted to leave. I applied to Temple to transfer and everything in my first year because Drexel has wean-out courses. So because they have such a high acceptance rate, your first quarter classes are harder because that's where they get rid of most of the kids. I'll never forget, I had this biology class. I looked at that. I could never understand what she was talking about. She just talked so fast. It was just the slide. She wasn't really, I'm used to understanding things as a whole. She's just spitting stuff at me. And then I would meet with her and I'd meet with other kids, and they said, no, you have to teach yourself. And I'd be like, what? I thought that was her job to teach me. What do you mean I got to teach myself?
Learn a new lesson. Learn a new style, right?
Yes, I did. I had to actually really, really learn how I learned, because I realized I was just dependent on how the teacher taught me how to learn. I didn't really know how I necessarily learned. So I had to even learn in college, just because she said read chapters 26 to 36. You kind of have to gently understand everything between 26 and 36, not just the nucleus of the mitochondria. No, like you have to understand everything, because she could ask you one question about one thing that she said one time. And if you didn't read up on that one thing, that could be the whole test right there.
Fire, phase, down the drain.
Yes. So that was definitely a learning curve for me. But once I got over that, I finished at Drexel. I originally got my undergrad degree in health sciences because I wanted to be a physical therapist. I wanted to be a physical therapist since about high school, so I was working in a hospital, interning places. I did my college internship at a traumatic brain injury outpatient setting. So I was learning about TBI patients and rehab and physical therapy, and just seeing all the different settings of physical therapy. And then COVID happened, and that was around the same time I had to take the grad school exam to get into physical therapy school. There, I don't know, something about, I just couldn't study for whatever reason. I couldn't get into the GRE. I couldn't get into sitting down and learning. So at that time, I was just working actually as a behavioral health technician, which are the one-on-ones that go into schools and daycares.
So before we get there, because we're transitioning, but I like the transition, I want to circle back and then we're going to come back to that behavior specialist, because you gave me a nice overview of the entire education experience, which was great. So you
I have one more school though.
Give me that school.
That's where I was getting. Sorry. Anyway, we're going to skip the job part. Instead of going to physical therapy school, I went and got my master's in education.
Okay.
And then I went to Arcadia, and it was way easier than Drexel. So I was able to understand it. I was actually passionate about what I was learning. And then that's all my degrees.
I want to take you back to teenage Madison and
yes,
being a counselor at the Sharon Knights camp. I want to say this. You did just an amazing job of managing kids, but also building relationships and making each kid feel special. Where does that gift come from, and what did summer camp experience mean to you?
I honestly think that gift came from my mom, because she loves kids, and she would take me to volunteer with her because she was an assistant teacher at Tots for Christ. Okay. So every fourth Sunday, I would go with her and I would work with the kids too. So I had to learn, how to manage children and different personalities. So it was nice to be my own counselor at the camp. So it was nice for me to be able to apply a lot of the things I learned with her on my own. The summer camp meant for me, I actually talk about this a lot, so it's funny that you asked me this question. But it was like, it felt like a coming of age story to me in like a corny, cheesy Disney way.
Okay, come on.
Really?
Let's be Disney. No, they're not sponsoring us, so we can't promote that.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. It was really because I came from schools where I was the minority, and it was predominantly white everywhere I went. There weren't a lot of people who looked like me. I couldn't relate necessarily to a lot of things that Philly kids did in my neighborhood often.
Different cultures and
yes.
Things. Yeah, I understand that.
So it was like before camp, and I would go out, I felt like I had to code switch a lot, or I didn't know how to switch back to my culture because I was so used to switching to their culture that I didn't.
Always playing double dutch, right?
Yes, and it's kind of hard to do when you're a kid. It's like, as an adult, it's easier. But like as a kid, especially those teenage years, you're trying to form who you are. So it was like hard to figure out who I was. So I always talk about how I feel like the camp helped me find who I am, because I got to be surrounded by my people and my culture and got to come into like how to help people in my culture, how to be around teenagers my age, and people accept me for my culture switching also, because I would be in some settings and people would be like,
We had a high, intense, intellectually gifted group of counselors in that time when you guys were there.
I appreciate every single person, because from the kids all the way up to all the counselors, because it was just nice to completely be who I am 100% through it all. So that's what the camp meant to me in being a counselor.
You are a board-certified behavior analyst and licensed behavior specialist. That's a mouthful. Tell us about that journey into your profession, and what's your main motivation in pursuing this career path?
I say 100% God put me into this path, because I had never even heard of this field.
I know it's a mouthful. It's a mouthful.
Yeah. And if you ask the average person, they don't even know what this field is. So, like I was saying, I originally was supposed to go for physical therapy. I just couldn't get into applying myself to do what needed to be done. And I couldn't understand why at the time. Now looking back, I realized God was like, that wasn't your path, so that's why it just wasn't working. I was working with kids again, and I'll never forget this little boy. He has my heart, and he probably don't remember who I am. But he was like my first client in the field, and I remember going to daycare with him. That's when I worked as a behavioral health technician, and I just loved like working with him. implementing interventions and then seeing the changes that he had in the moment. Like, okay, really, we can control behaviors a little bit. And I only got the job because it paid really well at that time. For a college student, I was getting paid like $20 an hour. That was fantastic.
The bag is always important.
Yeah. I said, oh, yes, I'm going to do this job. And then my supervisor, I was like, it's with kids. I just sit around all day. Yes.
And I get paid? Come on, I can do this.
Yes, I can do that all day. So my supervisor at the time, his name is Chris. We actually work together now, so that's funny. But he was like, I see that you're really good at this. I could tell you're passionate. So he explained to me the path to become a BCBA. I had to get my master's degree, and then I had to get 2,000 supervised hours, and then you have to sit for a board exam. And then
so I want to jump in real quick, because 3 phases of your life. Ms. Tharp, another teacher and friends, and this teacher, this co-worker, they saw something in you. Ms. Tharp early said, you need to go back here. Your teacher that was teaching you about Buddhism taught you another whole way of thinking. And then this person, they always, because I think you being so openly transparent and I think very inquisitive helps people say that they can suggest stuff and you would think through it, where some people, when you say stuff to them, like, I can't do that, I don't know what that is. So I think that's another gift that you have, that people are, you're comforting enough that people can share with you some things that they might think that might benefit you. That's great.
Thank you. I actually take that back to my parents, because they always told me you miss every opportunity you don't take. So you never know what someone else might say or anything.
You said culturally competent behavior care. What does that look like for children in the field that you're in?
What does that look like? Culturally competent behavior care looks like teaching behaviors that can be applied to their settings and environment, and also accepting whatever family's behaviors are required. So I have to write goals that fit the culture of whatever family I'm working with.
So I have 2, possibly 3 closing questions. And really, I want your voice on this, because one of the selfish pleasures of doing this, having this conversation, is I enjoy talking to you. And it's good to see you. And I am overwhelmed to see how you've grown up to be a wonderful, beautiful young lady. So
thank you.
Speak to this question. First, speak to the parents or caregivers who just received an autism diagnosis for their child. And how does that process work? And how do you support a parent that may not even has considered that, but you giving them this diagnosis?
I always like to tell parents it's okay to grieve the child that you thought you were going to have and the life that you're going to live. It's okay to have feelings of you're angry or you're sad. You also have to remember it's not your fault. You were just blessed with a child who may approach things differently. And luckily, there are a lot of supports in place to support your child in the environment. And the world is becoming a lot more accepting.
Yes, it is.
Of children with different
and that's
perspectives.
A good thing. That's such a good thing.
Yes, it is. So trust yourself as a parent also. That's a big one. To know that you're doing what you can and that the supports are here to work and that it's okay to feel how you feel. Because I feel like that's the biggest thing I see in a lot of my parents. They feel bad that they feel bad, but it's okay to grieve what you thought you were going to have.
I understand that. You're speaking to a young person. Could be a Philadelphian, but any city, anybody that's listening throughout this wild world of the internet. You're speaking to a person who feels called to this field, but does not know where to start. What would you tell them, or how would you tell them to get into this entry point to your profession?
A good entry point for me would be to start to get your become a registered behavioral technician. That is the board certified way for you to be a behavior technician. And it just helps you see the ins and outs of the field before you completely commit to the field. I will also say don't limit yourself to working as a BT also. Like there's also research fields. So as a BCBA, you're not just also stuck with working in a school or a home or a clinic with children with autism. You also could research different interventions that could be submitted for people like me who use them and we apply them. So try everything. That's something I didn't do. Try being a registered behavior technician. Try being a research assistant. You also as a BCBA, I could do organizational behavior management, try working on corporations and seeing how organizational behavior works. Because as a BCBA, it's not just stuck, we're not just pigeonholed to children with autism, too. The behavior is across everyone in all settings. All of the things I've learned and applied can work with anybody. I just chose the niche of autism. So just learning which one might be best for you before you commit to a field. That's what I would take first.
Share a thought or a comment, or just reflect on anything that you want to leave with people that may sit down and see this entire interview. What words of advice or encouragement would you like to give them?
Words of encouragement is to always be yourself. That is the biggest thing that I live by. You can't let anyone change who you are and forget who you are, because you have you at the end of the day. And don't forget all the blessings that you already have, and that blessings will always come. That's something that I have to remember and I live by and work through too, because, sometimes you may feel down or everything may not feel like it's going right at the moment. And then it's easy to slip into like, nothing's ever gone right. Nothing's gone right. Nothing's going right.
It's falling apart.
Yes, I've definitely been there. It's very easy to slip into that. So then that's when I have to remember who I am, and even just waking up the next day, even if that's the only thing I did, I woke up today and God woke me up. So that
perspective is a wonderful thing, because it could always be worse.
It can always
be worse.
Worse.
To everyone listening, my appeal, my push, support the families navigating autism. Learn what behavior health actually means, and recognize the extraordinary professionals doing this work with compassion, evidence, and love every single day. This is Thereasonsolutions. Like I always say, stay curious, stay critical, stay in the conversation. Deuces.